94.9 HOM, the best mix of the 80s, 90s, and today. It's AJ and Nikki playing with a little new technology here.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some relationship advice, or sort of. What do you got going on there, Nikki?
A topic I'm very passionate about, and that is, can you really tell if someone is lying to you? Just as a common, Joe walking on the street, not as a professional mental health counselor. And the answer to that is no, you cannot.
I've heard people talking about how, claiming to be experts in the field and certain tells that people have. You look for those tells to tell if they're lying or not. For example,
such as?
They're blinking a lot. They're avoiding eye contact. Maybe the way that they cross their legs or something like that.
So no, and no. None of those things can determine whether or not a person is lying.
Really?
There have been other things that I've heard that just, it makes me angry because it's junk psychology. And it actually ruins relationships because people hear these things, they either read about them or they hear about them, then they decide, I'm going to go test this on someone, maybe their partner, which is the absolute worst thing you can do, or someone at work or their boss. And then they think that the other person is lying based on this ridiculous stuff that they hear, and it can cause even more problems, especially in relationships. Imagine that you think that your partner is cheating on you, for example.
Yeah.
And he or she really isn't. But because you saw this list of the telltale signs someone is lying to you, you truly believe that they are. Well, it's called junk psychology for a reason, all right?
And if your partner knows that you're looking for those signs, then that's going to freak them out even more. They're going to try not to blink as much or try not to cross their legs, and before you know it, it's just a big mess.
Yeah, I've heard some of the most ridiculous things, like if somebody sits like this, they're lying, or if they, touch their face, or if they look up, look down, look to the left, look to the right. None of that is true.
So then what's the best way to make sure that somebody's not lying or that they're telling the truth?
First of all, ask yourself why it is that you want the information, okay? For example, if it's someone at work, you're trying to determine whether or not they're lying to you. What purpose does it serve if you know the truth? Obviously, with your partner, it's much more important.
Right.
And then secondly, the best way to determine whether or not someone's lying to you is to do what mental health professionals do. And remember, myself being a former mental health counselor, I have 6 years of education backed by 3 years of internship before I could even get a license. So it requires jumping through hoops of fire to learn, this kind of stuff.
Sure.
FBI profilers can do it. Again, they receive a lot of training. Some policemen can do it pretty well. But the thing that you're looking for more than anything else is whether or not what's coming out of their mouth matches up with their body language. All right? For example, if let me give you a really obvious one. If you ask somebody, is something wrong? And they're obviously, their shoulders are drooped and they're looking down and they have an expression on their face that just tells you something is wrong, and then they say, no, nothing's wrong. Well, that potentially could be a lie. However, maybe they just don't want you to know their business, or maybe they're not ready to talk about it. And in that case, it's not really a lie at all. It's just that they don't want to talk about it.
Of course.
So
if you see somebody and they're crying and you say, is everything okay? And they say, yes, everything's fine, then you can pretty much guarantee that's a lie.
Yeah. So again, if their body language does not match the words coming out of their mouth, then that's a pretty good indication that someone is lying. But all of this other stuff that you read about or hear about, whether or not the person is looking straight at you, they're staring at you too long, if they're blinking too much, that's absolute nonsense.
Yeah. Good to know. Well, we appreciate having your expert knowledge and expertise in the field, Nikki.
And you got it for free.
Exactly. Thanks for watching.